Hello everyone, so I am back and today is going to be quite interesting. I am going to try and get the bird to stay still for a moment or two just because I want to talk to you about him, because he is always making noise during my videos, so I really want him to be part of this as well. So I'll do my best and I'm just going to give you some knowledge about what there he is. Hey! Shh. You can be on camera but just not like... Hey. There we go. So this is Steven. He's Dutch. He's from Amsterdam. And he is a Tockus Deckeni, or what is also known as a Deckens Hornbill. Now, if you know Zazu from Lion King, that's what he is. And we didn't get him because of that. So I think it's important to feature that because that's his call. And he's just calling for friends. He comes from Amsterdam, and we got him about a month. No, actually, we got him back in August, and he was a little young baby at that point. So his beak was very black, and over time he has developed more of that rounded shaped beak, which is very synonymous with the species. So as you can see, the beak. This has been a journey to try and get him here, and that beak has got more rounded over time, so he has developed the colour. He's also got really beautiful eyelashes as well, and I'll do some close-up shots for you later, but there he goes. And he originates from Africa. He is a little bit of a terror. He loves nibbling on some soil and some plant stuff and leaves. So to my detriment and to my distress, that is the worst thing in the world. There we go. He hasn't done that to me in ages. Let's see. He's a bit nibbly, but I don't mind at all. He will consist of a diet of mainly crickets, mealworms, and also these frozen little baby chicks, which I let my partner deal with. I don't do those because I don't really want to. You're talking to a vegetarian, so yeah, I don't really want to kind of chop up baby chicks. He has his own really big aviary here, and I'll give you some shots of that very shortly, but he lives in there on a day-to-day basis, and then when we're home, we let him out and he flies around the flat. I think he is still very young. We're looking for a female for him just to create some interest for him. So we've got him loads of toys and things like that, and I'm home quite a lot during teaching backwards and forwards. So I get to spend some time and I'll let him out when I can. And as soon as we can, we'll let him breed. Their breeding is really interesting because what the males will do is create this nest of like mud and spit and all this kind of stuff, and he'll seal the female in this nest and leave a tiny little hole in which he can feed her. He's sitting on the camera right now, in which he can feed her through the nest in that little hole while the chicks become a little bit more of age. Males will tend to be a little bit more destructive to other males and potentially kill other chicks as well. So you've got to kind of separate as much as you can. You can often see them in some zoos around the UK, but not very many. I know there's not a massive collection of them over here in the UK. Not to say that they're rare, but it's just not really a kept species over here in the UK. I know they're quite popular in the EU, and there is a big group of hornbill keepers in the EU. So that's where we're kind of looking for the female, and we're willing to travel, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, we called him Steven because he was going to be called Hopkins or Jumpkins. That was going to be their names. And then we started thinking about Hopkins, and then Hawkins came to mind. So Stephen Hawkins. So we started thinking, okay, we can call him Hawkins instead, but he's not a hawk. So then we were just like, okay, let's call him Steven. Like, why not? That'd be really, really fun. And then because he was from Amsterdam, we have to give him his roots. So it's Steven with a H. So they like to jump a lot. Rather than fly around, they'll actually hop around on the floor. And his bite doesn't hurt. Let's just say that. Hey, you little bit nipply. And you'll often catch him like wiping his beak left and right on a twig or a log, which he has in his aviary. And that is just to clean the beak off as well. And what's really interesting is because of that big beak, they can't clean some of their feathers, so they'll always stay a little bit fluffy. Whereas in most birds, they can move their necks around quite mobile, and they can have access to the other feathers to make them more smooth and slick, whereas these guys stay a little bit fluffy. He's being really good for the video today, which is really interesting. That's Stephen. To give you the knowledge that I have, I don't really have much. I'm not really that well versed in animal keeping in terms of exotic species. I've had budgies and other things like that in the past, but nothing really specific like him. He's got a really beautiful wall piece for him to sit on. He's very good with his eyesight. He's able to pick up the tiniest little speck of something on the floor and pick it up with his beak, and he's very, very articulate with how he uses it, because he's able to take his, that my hand scared him. He's able to pick up his food, throw it in the air, catch it, and then also nibble it. I know it sounds really like weird and graphic, but he'll take the cricket, for example, and crush it till it's dead, and then throw it back in his throat. It's really wild, but hopefully by then we'll have a female, and we'll be breeding these beautiful species. He was bred in captivity. Let me just put that out there right now. We're not here to start collecting wild caught animals. That's not really what I believe in and want to take part in. Yeah, I don't really want wild caught animals. It's not nice. My partner has had rescued wild caught animals in the past that it's just really sad, because I feel like you can see and feel the pain from them, from what I've experienced. But this guy, because he was bred in captivity, there's a whole different way that he behaves. He's not wild. He's not like a Neanderthal, so to speak. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean that in a natural existence kind of way. Any animal that is wild will act in that way, whereas this bird here is a little bit more domesticated. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick little video on Stephen, because I think he's always making noises during the video, so it's only fair that he has a cameo on this channel as well. He's often hanging around with the tortoises as well and stealing stuff from their cage. You're going to say bye to everyone on the video. He sometimes bites my lips and my ears as well. Let's see if he wants to nibble. Yeah. So he likes to play and bite at the moment. I think he's still kind of young and playful. But the beak is beautiful. Very much like Zazu, but he is a specimen, aren't you? There we go. Anyway, guys, that was Stephen. Stephen, let me get it right. I call him that because I'm lazy sometimes, but yeah, that was his cameo today. So that marks him. Now you know who he is. So you now know where the clucking noises come from in the video, and we just call him the chicken because he sounds just like a chicken. And just a little side note, he's on the camera right now. He is, believe it or not, near enough. Hey, believe it or not, he is near enough toilet trained. Not anything I've done or anything my partner has done. So he'll poo just on a towel on the floor. So good. The other thing is he's not a squawker. He's not a loud parrot style bird, which is just heaven. So he's a real pleasure to keep. And I look forward to having a female in the future. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed Stephen, and until next time,